What's going on, everybody? I just want to inject myself in here real quick. This video has been shot over many months. If the timeline doesn't make a whole lot of sense, that's kind of why, but I'm going to sprinkle things in as I see necessary. Essentially, you're going to see what I'm talking about presently and the stuff that I recorded when I first got the bike. I hope that helps. Anyway, enjoy.
I got something that I want to show you, but I think I'm gonna have to clean this up before I do. There's a little bit of a mess, but it's under this sheet, so let me just clean this up.
What's going on, everybody? This is my 2009 Suzuki S40. It is my first street legal motorcycle. I did grow up driving dirt bikes, but this is the first one that I can take on the road myself. I got it in the fall for $2,000, which is a bit higher than I should have paid for it, 2,000 Canadian, mind you. But I'm not exactly looking for a profit on my first bike. So this is more of an introduction than anything else, but I do want to talk about why I think it's a good beginner bike. As you can see, it's not a very tall bike, and I stand at a whopping 6'1" and something. It weighs about 400 and some pounds wet. The reason that I think it's a good bike, other than the fact that it's pretty light and easy to move around, is mostly the seating position and the displacement. So this is a 650cc bike. It's a one-cylinder, which you can see right here, the good old thumper. In the east coast of Canada, I'm not sure how this works around the world or honestly in other parts of Canada, there's two motorcycle licenses you can get. You can get your sub 550cc and your above 550cc. Essentially, if you go get your sub 550cc license, you're gonna need to do it again if you want the bigger bike. I think is how that works. So anyway, I decided to settle for a 650cc bike for my first one so that I wouldn't have to do my test twice. Now, I haven't done it yet. I have done my safety course and my written test, which means I have been driving it. I just can't drive after dark and no passenger. Honestly, I'm not really sure what other restrictions there are, but those don't really bother me at the moment. This thing doesn't drive at breakneck speeds. It cruises very comfortably, however. I didn't want to get a 300cc bike for my first bike, not only because I don't want to do my license twice, but I don't want to be restricted to city driving only. Now, you can drive a 300 on the highway, but I don't want to be at the upper limit of where the power is at if I need to get out of the way in an emergency. This thing is very capable on the highway, it's comfortable. Apart from the fact that it's really light and the wind kind of pushes you around, it's not bad. Now, it did come with a larger windscreen. I do have some footage of when I bought the bike in the fall, which I will sprinkle in here and there. But for the most part, it's kind of just been sitting because I don't know if you can tell, it's winter. Bike is pretty dirty. We did drywall in the last few months. There's a lot of dust everywhere and I will need to clean that in the spring, but until that time, I can't really do a whole lot. Anyway, back to the bike. So I have it here on a little jack that I bought from Canadian Tire, Motormaster, Eliminator, Sport Power Jack, or whatever. It was like $200, I think. Pretty well worth the investment. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be the other way here, but for stability, I put it lengthwise. Probably should have put it a little bit more forward, and I think I'm going to do that in a bit, but it's just on the jack here so I can kind of move it around because there isn't a whole lot of space in the back part of the garage here. I'm going to show you the seating position on this bike just to prove to you why I think this is such a good beginner bike. I'm not going to put a whole lot of weight on this because I do not want it to tip. Here I am, it's lifted off the ground. You can see both tires are not touching, and I'm still plenty comfortable, flat-footed. It works well for smaller people. I'm lucky on the taller end, I guess, but you can see here, if I put my foot up like this, the seating angle is comfortable, like you're sitting on a chair. Your feet are in front of you, but not way out in front of you like some cruisers are, and it's not like a sport bike where I'm on top of my feet like this, which is not really something I wanted for a first bike. An issue that I'm having is getting into second gear currently is a little tough. And then it kind of gets stuck where I have to like really jam my foot in there.
So it was having some issues shifting. It sat for quite a while, so I've just been greasing it and cranking it.
The first driver that had it probably put most of the mileage on it, and it was owned by two other people who used it to get their licenses, but they never drove it on the road because they were a little too nervous. I have not had that problem. I probably put 600 kilometers in a month. I was super stoked. But mechanically, I'd say that's the only real issue with the bike is the shifter that I'm having a bit of a hard time with. I will need to get a carb clean because it does backfire. It's pretty common with these bikes from what I hear online. It's not a loud bike, so when it backfires, it kind of startles you a little bit. So I think a good carb clean will get that sorted out. It has the original air filter, and I'm going to be changing that pretty soon. as well as doing an oil change the filter, change the oil. And apart from that, that's really like kind of the only thing this bike really needs.
Cosmetically, it's not beautiful. You can see because it was sitting outside, the metal is pretty pitted, but I think with a little bit of elbow grease, we could probably get this back to a pretty nice state. You can see it's kind of here on the transfer case cover. Is that what that's called? The cam cover? I don't know. There's some right here below the headlight and the bottom of the forks. I did get some shine and it did work pretty well here. I didn't get to do like the rest of the wheel, but I'm gonna be using a bit more of that and just see if I can get some of this out. It probably just needs a pretty good buff. You can see here the top of the covers for, what is that, the brake reservoir maybe. On this side here, more of the same thing. And it looks like maybe the last person their boot might have touched here. That was the only thing I really noticed. It's a good thing it wasn't their ankle, I guess. Comes with these saddlebags. You can fit 2 loaves of bread in each one. How do I know? I don't know. I might have tried it. And it did come with a much larger windscreen, which I did change. I think this is the original one, but it came with another. I don't know if it came off a bigger Suzuki or a Harley or something. The bike is belt driven, which is nice. Belt's in pretty good shape. I am not the world's most inclined, but I've worked a lot on chainsaws, on trimmers and lawnmowers. To me is pretty simple. When you start throwing in all these electrical stuff, I'm a little lost, but I'm gonna figure it out. There's tons of stuff online, and I'm sure it won't be the world's hardest challenge. But yeah, that's just kind of why I think this is a fantastic beginner bike. It's light, it's not super tall, it's got enough power to get you where you need to go without really breaking your neck, which is nice. You're not going to be proving nothing to people on the roads, but you will be comfortable and you will have a lot of fun. I did, and I can't wait to get it back out in the spring. If only it could just get here because it's snowing right now. What the heck is this, man?
Now these bikes have been in production for a very long time. It used to be known as the Suzuki Savage or the LS650. And now rebranded to the Boulevard S40. If I gotta be honest with you, this ain't really a Boulevard. If you Google Boulevard, you're gonna find big bikes. And this is not a big bike. You can see my knee makes up most of the height of the bike, and she's not even on the ground right now. But yeah, if you guys would like to see some of the mechanical work on this bike that I'm gonna do, make sure that you hit the subscribe button. Like I say every time on this channel, I have to spend money to make these videos, so they're kind of few and far in between. I'm hoping to kind of branch out a little bit, and I'd like to get into motorcycle content at some point, but until the time I have money for the camera and all the equipment I need to do that stuff, we're going to be looking more at the mechanics. That's kind of about it. Now I do have other content that you can watch while you wait. I have car content on my Mazda 3, tech reviews. As of right now, that's pretty much it on this channel. But if you guys want to check out my gaming channel, obviously is where I play video games. I post a few times a week when I'm lucky. Still have 2 other jobs on top of this one, which isn't paying me, so it's for fun. So I get around to this stuff when I can. It's still fun. That's kind of all that matters. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.